Earlier this week, it was announced that Telkom is in talks to buy Cell C, one of the third largest telecom networks in the country. 5 years ago, Telkom, traditionally a fixed-line business, launched a cell phone business to offset declining sales from its traditional phone business. Is this likely to create a shift in the telecoms business in South Africa? It's an interesting question that hopefully Owen Nkomo from Inkunzi Investment will shed some light for us. Good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you, Leah. Good.
So when I said to you, I mean, you know, this deal, do you think it's going to go ahead? Is this the way? And your answer was, I really do hope so. Is this going to be a good thing for South Africa if it happens?
I do think it will be, because you've got Telkom, which is a business that's on a robust trail to do good deals and increase critical mass in their fold in terms of the services they're offering. And I think Telkom has tried numerous times to have critical mass and presence in the mobile space. And I think management finally decided, in what I think is the worst kept secret in the country, that they're going to make an official announcement that they are talking to Cell C, which is probably going to add maybe in anything in the region of 18 to 23 million subscribers to Telkom's database of about 3.4 odd million mobile subscribers at the moment. I think it will be great because all of a sudden these two giants can cut costs where they can, and they hopefully can use some of that cash to improve the infrastructure that Cell C is running on, and hopefully they can get better network connectivity for their customers.
Yeah, because I mean, there's nothing wrong when you look at Cell C. I mean, their advertising is amazing, their marketing, their deals are great. They try to woo customers all of the time, but many talk about the infrastructure and the fact that you're dropping calls. It's not up to scratch. It's not up to the standard that it should be. So I mean, with Telkom buying it out, is this going to completely change the playing field?
Yes, one hopes so, because I think the one challenge that Cell C faces is the fact that they are not a listed entity and they don't have to disclose much of their financial affairs. So I think once they are part of the Telkom realm, Telkom should be able to raise some capital also and try and boost the network connectivity at Cell C. And hopefully they're going to become a meaningful mobile operator in the country. There's been so much competition. I mean, Vodacom and MTN are far ahead of Cell C in the country in terms of the quality of networks. And I think that with Telkom being as aggressive as they are in trying to improve things and have a presence in the mobile space, I think Telkom will definitely do whatever it takes to make Cell C a worthy competitor to the other two operators.
Yeah. What about Telkom Mobile? I mean, how have they taken off? Is it working for them?
Actually, it is. They've got a decent number of subscribers, north of about 3 odd million at this stage, and I think that initially they spent. I mean, we questioned the decision for them to move out of Vodacom, sell out of that, and then try and set up a new network operator again from scratch, which was going to cost them about 6 billion odd rands, if you remember Hater. And then many years later, they rebranded it to Telkom Mobile, and I think it's taken them a long time to get to a position where they're comfortable enough that they can do it, and I think that's why they're making this bid for Cell C.
Let's break it down. Let's look at both of the companies separately, just to get an understanding. Telkom, how is it made up, the ownership, how does it work? Let's talk about Telkom first.
Well, the majority of ownership in Telkom is obviously in the hands of government and government-related entities, and we've got the PIC also holding a decent chunk in that business. And I think in all, you've got just under 40% of Telkom being controlled by the government. But the good thing is that government has taken sort of an arm's-length approach when it came to management decision-making, at least in the current management that is led by Sipho Masego and Jabu Mabuza. And that's why the guys have been able, in my view, to turn the business around. And, Cell C is owned 75% by Oga Telco, which is another African operating business. And I think that they've been calling for about 22 billion odd rands. And if Telkom can come to the party with some kind of figure, and I think the guys are ready to do a deal, because we've seen them try to raise capital in the market before. And I think what needs to happen is to bring Cell C into the public space, and I think maybe you will see people want to invest in a business like that if it gets listed. We've seen a lot of new listings get oversubscribed in the recent past, and I think that people are interested in getting invested. It should be easy to raise money for Cell C in the public space.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Telkom announced their intention and their bid to buy, the shares did exceptionally well. They went up like 3.6%. There was a little bit of a dip in it after that, but generally, I mean, this news seem to have been welcomed by the market, and they seem to want something like this.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Telkom is doing their best, to increase their presence in the data space, to diversify their revenue streams away from the fixed line. They're the biggest fixed line operator in the country, and so they now have got a good presence in data. Now they want to be in mobile as well.
Yeah.
And I think that, to acquire 22 odd million subscribers from just one transaction like that, I think that's what Telkom needs to become a decent player in the mobile space. The businesses sort of need each other, actually, because I think Telkom comes in with decent execution capacity. From a management perspective, we've seen the Telkom management close down the business connection transaction in a very exceptional manner, and that gives them access to the IT side of the whole telco IT space. And then when they get the mobile side going with Cell C, I do believe that will be earnings enhancing for Telkom down the line.
All right, so what I'm understanding is that Telkom did put an offer forward previously. I think it was about 14
It was about 14 billion rands.
And that was rejected.
It was rejected.
So now I know that Orga, they want 22 billion. They will not budge. And the offer is expected to be put forward in November.
Yes, by the end of this month, there should be an offer on the table.
Yeah.
So I do think Telkom management will probably offer them maybe script in Telkom. They'll offer some shares and maybe offer some cash as well in the transaction. Because I don't think Telkom has got a ton of cash sitting on the sidelines.
A war chest sitting in the corner.
Yes, so I do believe it will be a combination of a transaction in terms of the funding of the structure.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it's going to be a deal that suits both parties, because I do think that Cell C needs to become a fully fledged business that can compete in all aspects with its two competitors, Vodacom and MTN,
Absolutely.
and hopefully maybe get into the Africa space as well.
And this deal will seal it. But I just want to, as we wrap up this interview, we talk about the deal being good for both parties.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I want this deal to be sweet for me too. So, I mean, will we see this price war really heating up with regard to our mobile operators in the country?
I do hope that we see more concessions for the consumers as a result of this transaction. We've seen mobile termination rates coming down significantly in the past 5 years, and I do believe a good transaction like the one that's being envisaged out of Telkom and Cell C will give more competition to the mainline providers, and hopefully we'll be calling each other for far less than we're calling each other at the moment.
Exactly. And WhatsApping and FaceTiming
Absolutely.
each other. Because that's the problem, are those data costs out
Most
there.
definitely.
It's actually not the phone calls that are a problem. But listen, thank you for talking to us. So let's wait and see what happens towards the end of this month, if it all comes through, and if Telkom managed to put that bid through of 22 billion. That's what the parent company of Cell C would like. So let's see if they can come up with it. Thanks for talking to us, Owen Nkomo from Inkunzi Investment.
Thank you very much for having me, Leanne.
This morning. Pleasure. All right, let's find out what the weather holds in store for us. Again, Tsietsi, it's over to you.